So what's up, guys? I've got a 4th gen OU match, and this is actually on my Platinum version. Um, I have a Platinum and a Heart Gold Soul Silver one. The reason for that is so I can have 2 save battles at a time, so I don't have to worry about recording one before another one or whatever like that. But this is actually a 4th gen OU match. I was on some chat room looking for one, and I actually found one. And I'm using probably my favorite team I think I've used in a long time. So this kid's leading off with a Gengar. I'm leading off with a Hippowdon. He goes for Psychic. Not sure why. I'm just going to set up my Stealth Rocks. And that's awesome because with the Sandstorm, I can break anything's Focus Sash. So I've kind of figured he would have one. So that's why I really like this Hippowdon lead, is because for such things like this with like Focus Sashes, because since it's a lead Gengar, I'm assuming it probably has Hypnosis and like Focus Sash because he is playing on Diamond version. So I can only assume it has that. But I go for the Roar. I roar him into a Scizor, which I'm like, okay, well, I know I can live anything it wants to go for, and if it's a Swords Dance set, I know I can just go for a Roar, and it'll be roared out, so I'm pretty set to go here. He goes for the U-turn. I do believe I go for the Slack Off, predicting that, because there's no way he'd stay in and go for Bullet Punch, because I know that would not be doing a whole lot to me. So he goes back into his Gengar, probably predicting an Earthquake or something along the lines of that, but I just go for the Slack Off. And I'm at practically full HP again, which is pretty awesome for me because Hippowdon is one monster of an OU Pokemon. This thing is almost impossible to be taken down. So he's getting hurt by Sandstorm and stuff like that, which is awesome. I'm getting leftovers. I'm going to actually switch out here, go into Skarmory, knowing I can completely wall this Gengar. Because so far I haven't seen the Thunderbolt. I'm thinking he might have Destiny Bond or Counter or something as well, but he just goes for Shadow Ball. It does like nothing to my Skarmory. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to set up my spikes, predicting the switch, because I didn't honestly think he'd have anything against me, but he actually does have the Thunderbolt, so he's like an offensive lead Gengar. He might not even be Focus Sashed for all I know, but that's the only thing I can assume at the moment since I didn't really get to see much of this Gengar, but he ends up getting a crit there, as you've seen, which takes down my Skarmory, which sucks because I'm not able to set up any of my spikes or anything like that, but I go into my Choice Scarf Azelf, which I think is a really fun Pokemon to use, and if you're still into 4th Gen, try this Choice Scarf Azelf out. It's like a great wall breaker. It has Explosion. Like, if something's setting up, you can come in, still outspeed it because you're Scarfed, and then take it down with an Explosion or Zen Headbutt or Ice Punch, and I also have U-Turn in there. So he goes into his Tyranitar this turn, knowing that I'm probably locked into Zen Headbutt. I'm going to switch, go in Hippowdon, knowing he can't touch this Hippowdon. No matter how hard he tries, he's not going to be touching it. So I figure I want to get this Tyranitar out of the way fast, because Tyranitar is a big threat to any Pokemon team. And leaving it around like that is not going to be good. So I just opt to go for the Earthquake this turn, knowing that he's probably going to want to hit me with like an Earthquake of his own. But he actually has Ice Punch on Tyranitar, which I didn't see coming actually. But that actually doesn't even do half to me. So I know I can live another one, go for Slack Off. And Slack Off, I think that's how it's pronounced, but whatever. I go for the Earthquake, and that does like nothing. It does only about half damage to this Tyranitar. So I don't know if he's like a bulky Dragon Dance set. I'm not really sure, but at the moment, I'm not too threatened by it because I have this Hippowdon. He goes for another Dragon Dance, predicting me to go for an Earthquake again to take him out. But I go for the Roar because knowing that another one's not going to take him down, depending on min-max, he might take my Hippowdon down there. So that was a great move on my part. I reveal his Infernape, which is great for me because I don't want it like an Infernape coming in late game and just sweeping the rest of my team. So it's good that I know he has it. And he goes for the Grass Knot here, which tells me he is a mixed ape, which is kind of rare. You don't really see them much anymore. I figured he would probably just kill me with like a Overheat or Fire Blast or something, so I just went for Roar. I should have went for Earthquake actually just to take him down, but oh well. I can't talk today. I'm sorry. I roar him into a Vaporeon, which is awesome because now I know another bulky Pokemon on his team, which just so happens to be this Vaporeon. So I'm going to have to switch out. I'm going to go into Tentacruel just because I wanted to save Hippowdon for later because he's a pretty good death fodder, and just in case I need to set up the Sandstorm again, he's just there. So I switch into Tentacruel knowing he's my special defense monster, and this Vaporeon is not going to be touching this Tentacruel. Even if he has Hidden Power Electric, it's going to do nothing. Like, because Vaporeons usually aren't EV'd in special attack, but if he was, then he might be a little more threatening to this Tentacruel, but I kind of figured he would have the Hidden Power Electric, but just watch how much this does. Yeah, that was it. That's all the Hidden Power Electric did to me. That just shows how much of a beast this Tentacruel really is. And now I'm setting up my Toxic Spikes, so he's going to have to switch into his walls right away so they don't, like, get badly poisoned. So he's going to have to switch here. He goes into his Raikou, and I'm like, okay, well, this is not really a threat to me because I do have my Choice Scarf as Elf, and I can just, depending on its HP, I can go for, like, Zen Headbutt to take it down, or Explosion, either one. But now that I got both my layers of Toxic Spikes up, I kind of predicted he would go for a Substitute this turn because I figured he was like a sub-Calm Mindset, like a bulky subset. But he's just an offensive Calm Mindset, so he goes for the Calm Mind, probably predicting the switch. But I stayed in predicting that and went for Surf either to break its sub or get some decent damage before Tentacruel dies. Because at this point, Tentacruel is a death fodder, and I don't really need it because he set up both his Toxic Spikes. And really, I have other Pokemon to take down the Vaporeon, so it's not that big of a deal. He gets hurt by Poison, he's getting hurt by Surf and Sandstorm and everything like that, which is awesome. I'm going to switch, predicting the Thunderbolt this turn, because I figured he'd want to kill me, and I go and hit Paladon, and I get it right, which is awesome for me, because that's going to get more Sandstorm and more Toxic damage on him, which is very helpful. So hit Paladon here, it's at the his life is at the end now. I didn't really want to switch because if he had Hidden Power Ice instead of Hidden Power Grass, I wouldn't want to switch into my Dragonite that I do have on this team. But he goes for the safe play, goes for Shadow Ball, and takes me down, which is alright. But he's going to be taken down to Life Orb, Toxic, Sandstorm. All of his Pokemon are getting hurt massively every turn, which I just love this team for. Because it's so bulky and it has so much entry hazards, almost nothing can come in safely without taking like at least half damage. But he goes into Scizor, and I go into my Dragonite. I thought I could live a Bullet Punch because I've lived them before, unless he gets a crit. Which he does get a crit, but he wasn't expecting the Fire Punch because most Dragonites actually don't have the Fire Punch, so mine does. Fire Punch is going to take a Scizor down, which is pretty awesome. And I actually called that crit as we were battling. It was pretty funny. I'm like, watch him get a crit and take me out. But I'm actually thinking he's Choice Scarfed because a crit should have killed this thing. I don't know. I thought it might have. But either I have some defense EVs in here, or he's not max attack, or he's Scarfed. I don't know. So I'm going to switch into Tentacruel knowing he's probably going to go for the Water move or the Ice move. But he predicts that, goes for Hidden Power Electric, which is awesome for him, but again, it is not touching this Tentacruel. So with the leftover support, well, I mean, leftover is kind of negated because of Sandstorm, but I do gain leftover second, which is good because if I'm at such a low HP, I can, like, the Sandstorm and then the leftovers come, so I'll have the little bit of extra HP. But I just go for the Sludge Bomb. Even though Tentacruel has a really low special attack stat, I just go for that just to get that like little extra bit of damage on this Vaporeon. But I do have some other Pokemon that can take him down, like a Zelf for one. If it's at a low enough HP, I know I can just go for Zen Headbutt and take it down. Or I can go for the Explosion, because I don't think he has the Wish and Protect set. I do believe he's probably like the Toxic set, like he has like Toxic, Surf, Ice Beam, and Hidden Power Electric. I'm pretty sure, so don't quote me on that there, but that's just what I'm assuming from what I've seen in his moveset so far. So he goes for another Hidden Power Electric. That's not going to take me down. And I do believe this turn he is going to be taken down to the Sandstorm and Toxic damage, which is awesome. So I'm at like 41 HP here. I think he gets taken down to the Toxic. Wait. Yeah, he does get taken down. So Tentacruel just took down the Vaporeon, which is awesome. Because Vaporeon is one hard Pokemon to take down. And I just took it down. So he goes into Infernape. Too bad no spikes are up or anything like that, because he'd be at like half HP right now. But he did get that crit earlier, so that kind of sucks. But he goes for the close combat. Not really sure why, because now his defense and special defense are lowered. I can just go into like any Pokemon I want, go into that and revenge kill it. So I don't know what he was thinking there, but it's not that big of a deal. So he's getting hurt by Sandstorm, Toxic, everything. I go into my Dragonite HM Slave, which is an awesome name, by the way. I go for the extreme speed because I'm banded. And with the -1 defense, that's going to take the Infernape down. And I'm pretty sure it would have taken the Infernape down no matter what, defense, -1 defense or not. Because even if it did live, the Sandstorm and the Toxic damage would just finish it off. So, yeah. I get hurt by Sandstorm and everything like that. He goes into his final Pokemon, Tyranitar. Gets hurt by Stealth Rocks, Poison, everything, but he doesn't get hurt by Sandstorm. That's kind of disappointing, but it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just gonna leave Dragonite here in as Death Fodder. Just go for the extreme speed, just to get that little bit of damage on before I die. He just goes for the Ice Punch to finish me off, which is not too big of a deal, really. I kind of wanted him to kill me and not set up the Dragon Dance, but if he did set up the Dragon Dance, another extreme speed would take him down because of the poison damage and everything like that. So I basically backed him into a corner with all my entry hazards, which is awesome. I go into his elf, go for the U-turn because I'm scarfed, and that's going to take his Tyranitar down. So I hope you enjoyed this OU match. It was actually a really fun match. I do believe the trainer's name was Chris in here, but the name was like Ashley something, I forget. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this match. Give it a like rating if you liked it. Give it a dislike if you disliked it. Leave a comment on the battle if you want to battle me sometime. PM me your Skype name, and we'll talk on Skype because it's a little bit easier than YouTube. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah.